Hi, it's Stephen Phillips here from Ginfo, and we have a short clip today of Helene Russell talking to us a little bit about managing your talent pipeline and succession planning. Now, the full footage of this conversation is available at ginfo.com, as is a written copy of the report and the slides that you can see in the presentation. If you do enjoy this presentation or this clip, please do click the like button. And if you'd like to get future updates, please do click subscribe. But in the meantime, I'll hand you over to Helene.
People need? What skills do you need to develop? What do you need people to learn in order to take over from those who are retiring or leaving for whatever reason? Now, I personally find it's useful, because I can be a forgetful person, to have a kind of framework perspective kind of thing to remind me about all the different kinds of knowledge that can be useful to retain within your organization. Now, some KMs are huge fans about debating these things endlessly. I am very much a practitioner rather than an academic, so I'm not a massive fan on debating these, but I think they are useful, and I think it can be useful to think about which one really chimes for you in your organization, just to help you in your everyday work. The purpose to make your job easier and make sure you're covering all the right bases for your knowledge work. So these are the three that kind of make sense for me personally. So there's A is kind of a bit like the KM ISO standard spectrum of knowledge, starting with the easy stuff to write down, going through implicit towards the stuff that's really, really difficult to write down that people don't always realize that they're using when they're working, the hunches and the gut feelings and things like that. So this slide is really just a conversation starter about this idea about upskilling talent and the tactics you can use generally. I mean, I guess the first really, really fundamental thing is to regularly touch base with people about their career aspirations and to coach them through their everyday work challenges. That's a really, simple good management practice, isn't it? But I think it kind of bears saying and kind of bears including, because it's exactly the kind of thing that drops off the to-do list that people have when things get busy. So I think it's important to include. These were some of the ideas in that knowledge cafe I was talking about, that people shared about great ways to get that knowledge retained inside your organization, kind of, before anyone says that they're leaving. Just the usual knowledge management-y kind of things that we do, trying to find a way to embed knowledge management processes in your knowledge management projects in your process, trying to build up the culture so that people feel comfortable sharing, making sure your tech is accessible and user friendly and that kind of thing. Just the kind of usual stuff that knowledge managers do. But then also I'm a massive fan of trusting networks and encouraging people to collaborate both inside your organization and also with their peers in other organizations, through groups such as this, Ginfo.
When someone tells you they're leaving, unless they are leaving under really, really lovely circumstances, unless they have been at your organisation for years and years and years and they're retiring and they're delighted to help the next generation come up, really, it's too late when you know they're leaving. The best thing you could have done was to do all those things we talked about creating communities of practice and finding ways to embed knowledge sharing in your work processes. But these are some of the things that came up in the Knowledge Cafe about what people thought worked quite well.